Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Bechdel Theatre podcast. I am your host, Pippa. I am introing solo again this week. So this month, as we try to move past our post-Edinburgh Fringe blues, we are actually very delighted to bring you coverage of another festival, this time from Camden People's Theatre. They have a festival on at the moment called Come As You Are, which is running until the 30th of September. So this week, myself and Beth interview Lucy and Leo from award-winning theatre company Milk Presents about their show Bullish. And also Beth got to interview the wonderful Amy Taylor, who is the founder of LGBTQ Arts Review, who is showcasing new and underrepresented voices in the LGBTQ community on stage in the theatre festival every week. So to find out more about when their shows are on, as well as some more general Bechdel Theatre recommends for the month, please stick around to the end of the episode. We will give those to you, but for now, enjoy. Myself and Beth are at Camden People's Theatre, and we are joined by Lucy Parkinson and Lucy Skilbeck, aka Leo, who are here as part of Come As You Are Festival as the company Milk Presents with their upcoming show Bullish. Would everyone like to say hi?
Hello!
Would you mind introducing yourselves a little bit and about your position within the show?
So, I'm Lucy Parkinson. I perform with the company. I performed in Joan, playing Joan, obviously, that's just me. And I'm also in Bullish, playing Daedalus / Minotaur / myself.
And I'm Lucy / Leo, and I'm the writer and director of Joan and Bullish.
Yeah. Awesome, thank you. So we are here, you guys are here at Camden's People Theatre as part of Come As You Are Festival, which is a non-binary, queer and trans festival. I was wondering if you want to talk to us a little bit about the production.
About Milk Presents, how the company came to be here as part of Come As You Are.
So our very first show was called Bluebeard, A Fairy Tale for Adults, and we did that in Edinburgh in 2011, and Camden People's Theatre saw it and supported us with that show, and so they've kind of helped us grow over the last 6-7 years really. And so this was a Jerwood Home Run commission that they gave to a company that needed like a little step up. Maybe we'd never had a 3-week run in London before, and so they gave us a little bit of cash to make Bullish. And the company, as Milk, we are based at Derby Theatre and the Bush Theatre in London. And what we aim to do is shift perceptions of gender and sexuality through theatre or kind of provocations or disruptions. And we make theatre, we run workshops, and we always unpick what this really sticky, messed up, brilliant thing called gender is. And so we bring on different performers for each of the projects. And Lucy is a superstar performer who we've been working with for Joan. We work very closely with our performers, so they will feed in and they will devise, and we kind of bring everyone into the Milk family for that period of time and forever, possibly.
Well, that would be nice.
So you're the writer and director of Bullish.
Yeah.
So you sat down and wrote the script to it and then brought it to the actors, or
no? So we've
that would have been
that
nice,
would have been
wouldn't it? That would have been nice.
The script keeps moving. So I had this idea that I wanted to look at Minotaur as a kind of metaphor for transness or gender queerness, and wrote a script and then brought it to the gang and then tore it up, and then we devised on it, and then I wrote again, and then we tore that up, and then I devised on it again, wrote again. We've kind of been doing this over and over again, keeping little bits from each, until we've landed on the one now, which is the winner. Like this one, this is the one. But it took a long time, and I think partly it's because my own gender identity was shifting so quickly that the play couldn't keep up. So if my head was in a certain place, the play would be reflective of that, and then I would move, and then the play is out of date, and then you also add in the experiences of the cast and the creative team, and so it took us a long time to get to where we are now, because gender keeps moving and identity keeps moving, and where we are in our heads keep moving. And so
that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's a fluid thing. It doesn't stick. There's no like destination that you arrive at and go, oh, this is my gender. It's constantly working, rehashing, which has been a really exciting thing. We're working on this project, but also at times it's quite a difficult thing, especially for you. I mean, like, because you've been like one day, yep, that's the scene. Next day, no, that's not right. Let's go back.
But then working with these guys, they will bring in. It's very personal, I think. Yeah, it's personal to me, but also I write to the people in the room. So the cast that we have, they're called A, B, C, and D, and could have been in. You know, there needed to be a gender non-conforming person, trans masc person, but I will write to them, and that's why it just took a bit of kind of getting into shape. But I don't want to speak too soon, but I think we're there.
I'll do it for you. I think we're there.
So, did you have the cast that ended up being in it in mind when you started writing it, or did the cast you brought on change it?
So, I knew Luce would be in it, but we devised with lots of different people with lots of different experiences and genders. We only landed quite recently on the idea that it would be about gender queerness or trans masc identity or experience kind of exploring masculinity, and that is a very sort of set thing that we wanted to explore, which affects who plays the parts, but we keep changing and moulding it. But yeah, once we had the set cast, then I could write to them.
Did you start with the Minotaur in mind as that was the beginning point, or did the Minotaur appear later, the Greek myth?
The Minotaur came in when I was at this really dubious support group that I'd, for some reason, decided to go to. And I sat there feeling slightly dysphoric, and I always felt like a Minotaur, like I felt like this angry bull thing, and then I ate all of the free food and left. And it was from that we kind of knocked together the idea of like Greek mythology and using Greek mythology to get a sense of your reality alongside this potentially transition story or not, but using the two worlds to collide. And then when you add all the cast in and their opinions and their experience of the world, you have a kind of mashup.
But that idea of Minotaur being half man, half beast, it's like I can really, like, as a performer, as a person, as a human being, where I am at, I can really identify with that. So it was a really good like instigating like point for us to start from. I felt already at a good vantage point when coming in to work on this.
I read somewhere that you'd said that the Minotaur, you were talking about one or two of the characters in the play, and you were saying was like the queerest character in mythology, which I thought was really nice, because it was like, are you queering this narrative that already exists, or does it exist already?
It's already in there. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I'll just take the Minotaur. It was like, yeah, it's the queerest, but you could have people come and argue that their characters are the queerest. I think I love the Minotaur because it is quite binary in a way. It's like half man and half bull, and that we can then trouble that. Also, I love that it was locked in a labyrinth as a metaphor in some way for dysphoria, even though that's kind of problematic, and now I've kind of moved on from that. But at the time, that felt really true and relevant, and this idea that we lock our Minotaurs away, but they will break out, or this idea that Theseus is coming for you and dealing with your Theseus. And there's I think a lot of queerness is already in history and in Greek mythology, and you know, we're here like, oh yeah, we're like totally new, but actually we're not at all. Like,
no,
it's
mate,
so
not
like,
even close. Like, we're all new.
We're all.
Ancient.
Yeah, totally.
See what you did there.
I like also kind of looking at that narrative as well and thinking,
It's from our rehearsal room.
How the gods of queerness.
because for me, I was thinking like that we learn about the Minotaur story really young, or I learned about it really young. And so the idea of queer, like the queer narrative, I was so not used to that idea. And like I would love for, especially seeing your guys' production, how that could kind of be used a bit more educationally to discuss that kind of thing as well. I think that's quite a really nice thing that it could springboard.
Yeah, I don't think we do that, but I think that's really good. We sort of use it and abuse it and turn it upside down and inside out, and don't necessarily follow that story.
You fuck it up, basically.
Yeah, but I think the basic metaphor is the basic principle is there, but we don't sort of bind ourselves too heavily to it. But I think you're totally right, and I think that's why we used Joan. It's like we use these things that people can latch onto to then explore something entirely different. So you can come and you can listen to a story and you get all the gender stuff for free, or you can come and watch Joan of Arc and listen to that story about taking somewhere else. So you can come into the work whoever you are or whatever you are. You can come as you are! Like what you did there. Yeah, so you can put yourself within it, hopefully.
I think what's really good about, sorry to interrupt, but I think what is really good about Milk Presents is that they take things from back in history, so things that are familiar that you might have heard of, not know all the full story, and then they represent it, including all this like genderness, you know, and it's just like a nice little nod of like fuck you to the people that are saying that this trans identity coming to the surface more is a phase or it's trendy. It's been around forever. We're literally like now just going, oh, by the way, you remember Joan of Arc? Oh, you know the Minotaur? Yeah, massive queer. Like, queer, mate. Yeah, half man, half beast, like queering about town. Like, can you imagine him in drag in his labyrinth? Having a great time, like, yeah.
I think what are myths for, apart from to be fucked around with, they're malleable, they're flexible, you can put whatever you want into them.
Yeah, totally. Drag king.
Oh, yeah.
What is a nice little link here, wasn't it?
Speaking of gender, so you, Lucy, perform as
Louis Cypher.
Louis Cypher, the drag king. How did you get into doing this drag king art form? How did you develop your persona? Where did Louis Cypher come from?
So when I was back quite a few years ago doing my master's degree, somebody gave me this really good like insight into like what art should be, and that it should be a reflection of the world that you're living in today and how that makes you feel, and then your interpretation of it re-performed and delivered to an audience. And I thought it was really like, wow, that's a great way to look at art. So I applied that to myself, and I was really struggling with my gender. I was really all over the place. I really literally was like a bull in a china shop. I was aggressive. I was like just a knobhead basically. And I thought like this would be a good opportunity to like explore that side of me, because I think a lot of the angst and a lot of the anger and aggression comes from nowhere to put these fears, no one to talk them out with, and nowhere to explore them. And I'd heard of someone doing drag kinging when I was like doing my undergraduate. I was like, oh, I could have a go at that. Then no one had noticed that I'm actually losing my mind a little bit and I can just make it pretty. So I came up like with a character's name, Louis Cypher, which like, if you look at it, it's got my name spelt through it, and all these other like, you know, structural things. But I chose Louis Cypher because I masculinized Lucifer. And that was like because I felt like wrong, bad, evil. Like I felt like people's reactions towards me was just like, what am I like? Just like some like I'm not the reading between myself and the other and their interpretation of me was so off. I felt that people looked at me like this horrible thing, like how people view the devil or whatever. So I chose this. And he was like an investigative journalist at first. So he was like film noir with an American accent. And I did a show called The Limits of Louis Cypher, and it was all about him investigating who's better, straight people or gay people. And I used things from the animal kingdom and songs and playing guitar and things from films in order to like just weigh it up. And I never came to a decision. It was just like, look at all that for a mess. While I was like, okay, am I trans? Is now the time in my adulthood for me to maybe think about working this out and having a conversation with my mum? And then I put it all to bed, and I was just like, I'm going to go off and I'm going to do a normal job. So I became a security guard.
Wow.
I thought, that's a good way to get rid of all that aggression.
Yeah.
Protect others. Yeah, so then I worked that out. And then it was, like, not until, like, 2014 when I was working in a bar as a bartender. And there was this competition that I heard about called Drag Idol. And it was, like, a nationwide competition. It had been going 11 years, and it made stars. Like, and they all went on tours. And I was like, hang on a minute, like, these are all bloody drag queens. Like, I've had a go at this before, and I know I can sing. I'm gonna have a go. And my manager was like, yeah, go, have a go. And I bloody won. And I won like a UK tour, and then I went to Austin and performed there. And then it was really like, I felt like, oh my God, I'm kicking down doors here. And I always had this mentality of like, I don't want to be like the number one at the front. I just want to kick down loads of weeds and open a gate for everyone else to run through. And drag kings have never had enough recognition for what they do. And people have often asked me like, what's a drag king? What's a drag king? What's a drag king? And I'm like, really? Like, really? We know so much about drag queens, nothing about drag kings, because they're not given no media attention. So, therefore, I'm going to change that.
And you are, like,
that's it.
There's so many more drag kings that I've seen since I heard of you, like, popping up out of
which
everywhere.
I think is brilliant.
It's amazing.
It's so great. Like, even if I just had any kind of little bit of influence on that, even if they just said, oh, hang on, they've won a competition. Look, we can do it. That's then made them go, I'm going to have a go. I've noticed, like, on the forums online, there's so many more people. I'm new to this, I really want to try. And everyone's supporting each other and networking. It's brilliant. It's coming. It's literally coming. Like,
I'm so ready for it.
Yeah, it's going to happen, babe.
Me and Pippa were like, should we ever go?
Yeah.
That's one of the questions that I've been thinking about recently, because I've been to see like so many more drag kings than ever before. And part of me was thinking, like, can I be a drag king if I'm femme? Like, can that work? Can I do it?
Absolutely, because it's not just about, like, your experience of masculinity from a male point of view or from that excluded area of maleness that you are or not. It's also about opening up to your female masculinity, because I believe that we have both sides. It's a negotiation between two, and the media tells us, if you're this sex, block out the rest of that. Because imagine how dangerous we'd be if we encourage both sides of our gender to work together in harmony. So this is why they disrupt it so much. So I would say, absolutely, mate.
And drag king, it's about performing masculinity or unpicking it. It doesn't matter what gender you are, because gender is so fluid and plural anyway, that it's just an unpicking of masculinity. So
you might find the second that you put something on that there's a whole transformation. Like we've worked with like 65-year-olds, because we do drag workshops. Like, hey, maybe you should come to one.
Yeah,
you should come to the next one.
I would love
it. And it's just like, people are just so liberated by it, because it's all of a sudden the pressures of your mask that you wear all the time is lifted. So you get to just put on whatever you want.
And then the new mask comes through.
Yes, exactly.
Beautiful thing. So, as Lou Cypher, and in Joan, you perform as a solo performer. You hold the stage, and you're amazing at it.
Thank you.
How does it feel working with an ensemble in Bullish?
Like a bloody holiday. Honestly, I'm like, that's not my line. No, it's great. I mean, obviously I've worked on my own for such a long time, so it was a big shock, but I knew coming into it that these would be some new skills that I'm learning, and I think they're completely priceless skills. Like, they're great, and it's so nice to be with different energies in the room and know when to rein it in and when to step forward. I'm talking like as an artist, as a growing performer, you have to learn when it's not all about you, and you have to learn when to support another artist that's feeling like, oh no, I keep fucking up my line, and you're like, no mate, it's all right, don't worry. And you see a lot more of a family mentality. Like, me and Leo made a strong bond through Joan, and now it's like, now I get to do that with a cast, and I still had to learn all the script. So I thought, I don't know why it was, I just thought, well, if I've got less lines, I just learn my lines. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to learn the whole script. So yeah, but it has been really good, and I've learned so much. It's brilliant.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see it.
I was just going to ask one last thing about the festival that you guys are in, Come As You Are. How does it feel being a part of the festival? What do you think is the future for the kind of performers that are in this festival? Are you touring?
We love being part of this festival, and we love CPT and everything that they do, and we're like totally hyped to be here and be supported by the festival. And we hope that in being part of this, we can see loads of other work and meet loads of artists and ideas. You can come, explore some new ideas at a kind of grassroots level. So some of the shows here will be really new, and some of the shows will be, I mean, ours is polished, but it's still going to be really new. But it's just like about knocking together all these ideas, and you could like have a drink with an artist in the bar afterwards, and then see something else. It should feel like a community, and that you can open your doors up and kind of think about some new ideas or ideas that are already part of you, and that we can just meet loads of other people, because I think as artists you get in your own bubble or your own head, and actually I can't wait for this to be up and so we can just chill and meet loads of other people coming in and loads of new audiences and enjoy the festival. Yeah.
There's a lovely vibe in this building.
Yeah.
It feels like a community space where you can just come in and hang out.
And
feel safe and comfortable.
Yeah.
Have you read the brochure? I can't wait. I'm going to see everything. Literally, I'm going to go and see everything. I'm like, I was looking through, I was like, where? Like, that's a bloody honour.
Did you get a ticket for PEX? Because they sold out.
No,
I might have a word with the boys. Hi boys, it's me, Lewis Cypher. Got any tickets?
We missed the chance for tickets.
They'll be back.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, they're smashing it at the minute. Like the work they do at the Glory and everything, it's like boom.
Yeah, they're fabulous. So apart from in the festival, we want some recommendations from you. One of the things we always ask from every podcast guest is feminist faves. Hashtag feminist faves. Things that inspire you, whether it be people or artworks or a book that you've read, something that makes you go, yes, gender.
I don't know if it's a feminist phase. Kind of is. David Hoyle would be the person I would pick because they completely unpack everything to do with gender, and they were one of the first people who I saw and was just completely blown away by. And I don't know whether you would how you label their politics, but they completely unpack and problematize and provoke every assumption on gender. And I think they were the first person that I saw, so I would
for the
them.
listeners.
Like David Hoyle, like a cabaret performer. Just look them up.
Cabaret performer, Google it.
Well, more than that, but yeah, Google it.
Amazing, thank you.
I can't possibly choose one. There are just so many. Like, I just find myself taking bits from everywhere. Like Meryl Streep, for me, some of the quotes that she has are like, they just fuel me. They fuel me in a way that my grandma fueled me, or my mum inspires me. I mean, like, yeah, I'm gonna say my mum actually, because she's bloody awesome, and she's been an absolute like rock hard, solid warrior, you know. And now she just has put so much effort into like me and my sister, and my sister's off like working in hospitals now, and I'm doing this, and she's then gone like, oh, I'm just gonna get a job in IKEA now. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, and she's just like, she has no idea what she's set out into the world, like someone that's saving lives, and then somebody that's stirring it up. Like, yeah, man, sorry, but I'm gonna say my mum.
I'm gonna say my mum.
Oh well.
You don't have more. You can all say your mums. I'll say my mum. Yeah.
So get to know her. You can find her on Facebook.
People are going to be Googling.
Yeah. She's an absolute...
Oh my god, your mum's...
My mum's great, mate. I hope you guys come and see it when my mum's here. You'll know all about it.
We'll be looking out in the crowd.
Well, they'll turn up on mass.
Oh yeah, man. They're absolute warriors. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Oh, what a great thing. Right, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much
guys
for chatting with us.
I loved hearing about your show, and you're touring Joan again, right?
Yes.
We are touring Joan. Hopefully we'll come back with a tan.
Yeah.
I want to see that again, because that was so
excited.
fantastic. When I saw it at the Underbelly last year at Edinburgh, it was like the total highlight of the festival. So yeah, looking forward to seeing Bullish at Camden People's Theatre, and then potentially seeing Joan
And then
again.
I'm back on tour with Joan.
Yeah. Busy, go and get
It's just really busy.
We'll let you get back to it.
Yeah, anyway.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, guys. Cheers, man.
Thank you. Okay, so we're now recording. This is Beth sitting here with lovely Amy Taylor of LGBTQ Arts.
Hello.
Hi, we're in a gorgeous house in Herne Hill where Amy's house sitting, and we've taken a moment out of her busy schedule to chat about raising our voices.
Raising our voices, yeah.
Yeah, so before we talk about what you're doing at Camden People's Theatre as Come As You Are Festival, can you tell us a bit about LGBTQ Arts?
Yes, so I started a website 2014, I think, to review LGBT theatre, which is what LGBTQ Arts was. And there wasn't anything out there doing that already, and I wanted to create a space that was specifically for theatre, looking at what was out there. And I think there's a danger that LGBT can sound quite limiting, but actually I've always tried to be really open-minded with what LGBT theatre might be and could be, and so we've reviewed all sorts of stuff over the years, but something that I noticed time and time again was that it was very G-dominated, the theatre we're invited to. So, that was kind of, it started as a process. So I started reviewing, interviewing, and then kind of got to this place now where we've noticed that there are not that many lesbian stories on stage or bisexual stories, or there are more stories about being trans and non-binary. There have been quite a few this year. There's been a lot. There's kind of been this... but it's also kind of pushing to make sure that continues. So it's not just like 2017 was the year and then it goes. But,
I think there is a lot of worry that the people from Bullish that we talked to saying about being like, it's not a fad, it's not a trend, it's people's real life.
Yeah, I think that's it. And there's a lot of festivals this year, and there's a lot of work at the moment. Outbox have got a show next week. They're doing that opens next week. Really good stuff. But it's just ensuring that these people and these companies keep getting the funding, and it's not just like, oh, this year we're going to fund this, and
in 2018 it'll be like, oh no, we already did that. Tick.
On something else. So, but anyway, sorry, I've deviated a bit, but that's what LGBTQ started.
So you've moved from reviewing into creating?
Yeah. So we still review. There's like an amazing team of I think there's about 20 people together that are sort of on the mailing list that review. But I've moved on from that into kind of creating, and we've got our scheme Raising Our Voices, which launched this year and came from that, kind of looking at the fact that LGBT theatre, in brackets, isn't that diverse, and the same stories seem to be told time and time again. So
Which are the... Coming out stories. There's a lot of there are a lot of plays about HIV. Once 2 opened in the same week in London, like on the same day, I think. And that's not to say these aren't important things and that these voices aren't valid. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just actually, for me, I would love to go to the theatre and watch stories about sexuality or gender that aren't doom and gloom and aren't about like a person suffering as a result of their gender identity or sexuality, but actually, just a story. And also just seeing characters that happen to be LGBT, but that's not like what the story's about, just they happen to be. And I know there was Mumburger, which was on quite recently, which I didn't get to see, but that was that, and that's great. And actually it's nice if you just kind of go, oh, they're gay and I'm gay, and it's nice to see.
It was brilliant because it was not remotely in any way influenced the story. Like, I mean, it obviously, the fact that she was in a relationship in the play meant that she had somewhere to go that wasn't her parents' house, but it didn't matter necessarily that her partner was a woman. It was like, obviously it did have an influence on the story, I'm guessing, like for the character building up her backstory, but in terms of what the audience saw on stage, it wasn't like, this is the story of a gay woman being gay. We didn't even know if she was gay or bi.
It's just, and
just my girlfriend.
Yes.
So refreshing.
Right. And I think it's really important as well. Like, I think theatre can lead the way in those attitudes, actually. And there's a brilliant moment in the film Moonlight where I can't remember exactly what happens, but the little boy is sitting with the kind of the dad character that's not his dad. And he goes to the dad, am I a faggot or something? It's a horrible word. And the man goes to him, that's not a nice word, and even if you are, that's totally fine. And you're not expecting it, and it's a really lovely moment, and you just go, oh, and that's how easy it can be. Like, that's how easy and simple the conversation can be with a child, or, it doesn't have to be really heavy. And actually, I was like, it's really nice that film is leading the way and showing how easy it can be. And I think theatre can also has the power to do that. So we don't always have to show the difficult... I mean, obviously it's important too, but also just to show that there's nothing different about being gay or bisexual or trans, or, actually on the whole, although there may be things that come with that, you don't... I'm gay and I don't think about it all day, every day. I do a lot of work about it, but I'm often more worried about other stuff. So, yeah.
I mean, there's the, kill your gays trope of dead lesbians on stage and screen, which is great to get away from as many opportunities as possible. So the work that you're putting on at Camden People's Theatre, is that a result of the Raising Our Voices project?
So, it's kind of one element. So Raising Our Voices, something I found in conversations with a lot of theatres was that quite a lot of them, especially ones that are kind of more scripty, playwrighty type theatres, would say they don't get as many scripts from, especially lesbians, they don't get as many lesbian stories as they do gay stories, which is really interesting, because I kind of was like, okay, I don't believe there are more male playwrights than there are female, in kind of a binary sense, looking, if we're breaking it down, looking at gay men or lesbians, or bisexual women. But anyway, the big focus is that they get a lot more stories about being gay than they do trans, non-binary, lesbian, bisexual. So I was kind of like, why is that? What's happening? Why are people not sending their scripts in? And so, or their theatre pieces in? So we're starting right at the beginning with people to work with them from their initial ideas. So some people have literally just come along and like, I've got this idea, I don't really know what to do with it, but can I have a go? And the answer is yes. Like, everyone come and have a go, come to a workshop for free, come and meet. We're working with the Arcola and the Soho Theatre, who have been doing things like workshops and offering space and support, and it's really nice because loads of our writers were at a workshop at the Soho and found out about the Soho Labs, and now quite a few of our writers have got onto the Soho Labs, so we're working, and it's really nice how it's developing. And next year we're working with Clapham Omnibus as well, so building up relationships between writers and venues, and so venues know the writers and don't go, oh, they're not out there, they're like, oh, they are out there, let's kind of support them in their process. So it's kind of going right back.
It's really nice to have loads of different venues involved as well, like all across London, not just limiting it to like, oh, this is the venue that's doing this kind of work.
It's really nice, and all the venues are quite different as well, actually, and I'd love to work slightly more with some devised venues as well, because I know there are people making devised work, and, so kind of try and cover as many venues, and kind of the next job is to invite venues to come on board and say, actually, do you want to show a commitment to diversifying your LGBT work? If you do, can we work together? Can we find a way to do this together? And also, I haven't mentioned intersectional voices, but also there aren't enough intersectional LGBT voices, which is really important.
It's that thing of you can only be one thing, like, you're not allowed to be like black and a lesbian and trans, like, imagine. It's that thing of like, oh, you have to tick one box at a time thing with commissioning, it feels like, or with, big theatres. So how do people who want to get involved with raising our voices, like, how would they go about signing up for a workshop or bringing their idea along?
So what happened was we opened for submissions earlier this year, sort of in the summer, and we got quite a few people. We got about 30 people that sent in work that we were keen to work with. It kind of fitted what we're looking at developing, and like things that are sort of not out there. So we're currently working with about 30 people, and then we've also had a load more people join the project for the Camden People's Theatre shows, which I will talk about in a moment. And so basically, so we've now got all those people we're working with for this bit of the project, but we will be opening for submissions again probably early next year, and looking at so there will be an opportunity. So the best thing to do is probably follow LGBTQ Arts, and then you can come on board, and basically once you're in, you're on, and you'll get invited to all of the workshops and everything that we do.
Great. Yeah, we'll be retweeting that for sure.
Lovely.
So what is the work that you're putting on at Camden People's Theatre?
So Camden People's Theatre, Comedy World Festival. We've got 8 pieces that are happening over 3 nights, and they're all artists that are making work about gender, or they may be non-binary artists, or gender fluid, or gender queer. We've got a whole range of wonderful people that are bringing 15 minutes of work to the Camden People's Theatre, and it's more than scratch. It's kind of rehearsed work, but it's work that's in development, so they'll go on from that, and this is their kind of first opportunity to share it. So it's really great if people can come along and feedback on what they see, and we've got so many different things, it's on the 13th, the 20th and the 27th of September at 9:00, and every night's really different. It's kind of 3 really different pieces, and 4 on the last night.
So if you come along, you'll get to see 3 different artists, at least 3 different artists.
At least 3, yeah.
So, if you don't like one, you're going to love the other.
And it's, really different as well.
And they're all, what are they, 15-minute pieces?
15 to 20,
20
yeah.
pieces.
So it's probably about an hour-long show we're going for.
Great. Fab.
Yeah.
And that's on at 9:00, so straight after Bullish.
Straight after Bullish, so you can do the £16 ticket deal, which is amazing. So you can see Bullish, and then you can see our pieces after for £16.
Bargain.
Which is like £8 a show, which in London,
yeah,
never gets
that's
to see a
great.
show for £8 now.
Brilliant. And Camden People's Theatre bar as well, cheap. So if you have a drink in between, you're not going to be breaking the bank. You're still going to have change from 20 quid. That's brilliant. So who are the acts that you've got on that you are really excited about?
So ready. I'm excited about them all. We've got a great company called the Killjoys who are doing a piece about hair, which I'm really interested in, and they're looking at what hair means to all different people, well, to all different women. So yeah, and the politics of hair, which I think is really interesting. I'm really excited about that. We've got Jezza, who is bringing a piece called The View from Queer, which is all about growing up genderqueer. And they did a great interview yesterday about growing up and being different and not quite fitting and all of that. And so their piece is all about. So I'm really excited about that. We've got so much. We've got Nemo Martin has written a piece about trans people of colour at the turn of the century in the aristocracy, which I think
that sounds amazing.
Great. And I was saying I don't think, to my knowledge, there's been a piece like that out there yet. So I really hope this is the start of their process in taking that piece on to become a fully fledged.
That sounds amazing.
Eventually, we've got Miko, who's doing some music stuff on the last night. We've got Teddy Lamb and Molly Beth Morosa, who are bringing a piece about pronouns and pronouns changing and that kind of thing. So yeah, got like a whole range of really different. We've got Ingo, who's from Bar Whatever, who does a lot of cabaret work and is bringing a piece about. I think it's kind of about identity and that kind of thing, but it's something they're developing. So we've got loads of great stuff.
So you've got a real mix between like forms, it seems, as well as different artists from different backgrounds and different identities. You've got different art forms. You've got cabaret in there. You've got somebody who's done a historical play. Yeah. And you've got some music there as well. Yeah. So it seems like it's a real variety type show.
Definitely, and it's all experimental, and certainly trying to be mindful of that in terms of Camden People Theatre's remit of what they kind of bring. But it's all stuff that we sort of imagine fits with their bill as well. So it's that kind of experimental, taking risks and that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, Camden People's Theatre do put on a lot of kind of divides and unusual things that play with form.
Yeah, that's kind of what they're known for.
They're very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Anything else that you wanted to mention before I ask you about your #feminist faves?
I don't think so. What I would love to say is that, it's been amazing, and we're Arts Council funded at the moment, which is really nice, and I want to kind of just say a big thank you to the Arts Council for that, because it's meant that we can do all of this work and that's
pay people,
which is amazing, and pay mentors to work with our people and have all of these brilliant workshops, and we can keep it a free programme for people, which I think is a really important thing, because I think money is always a big barrier for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. That's always the thing when you're starting out as any kind of artist. People will say, oh, put your own work on, that costs money. Or they say, go to loads of workshops and, make connections with people. But that, all the learning that you do, all the connections that you make, you kind of have to invest in them usually. So it's amazing to have something free.
Yeah, and I know that I really benefited from, when I was kind of much younger, I managed to do a funded thing at the National Theatre where I think I did have to pay 50 quid, but for a whole week of workshops, and I got a bursary towards it because it was actually more, and things like that made a huge difference to my career, and there were lots of Ideas Tap with doing free workshops back in the day. I know. I
still miss Ideas Tap.
It still breaks my heart, but I know that I really benefited from free opportunities through that and things that really helped me, and I think it's really important that those spaces stay open, because I certainly wouldn't kind of have got as far as I did without all of the free opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. Wow.
Yeah.
It's good to pass it on, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, feminist fave. Is that what anything you want to say before that? No? Okay.
I need to go with it.
So, we always ask everybody, who's your #feminist fave? Somebody that really inspires you,
from film, TV, or real life, or anywhere else? Who would you like to nominate, Amy?
Well, I've forgotten. Jessica Williams.
Right.
But my absolute favourite thing that she's done at the moment, well, actually, it's the only thing I've seen, but it's my favourite thing of like at least a month, possibly the year, is The Incredible Jessica James, which is kind of, I imagine it's kind of the story of her life, because it's on Netflix, and it's about her working as a drama teacher, and she's had a heartbreak, but she's just really funny. It's great. It just follows her life. It's like a little film. It's about an hour and 23 minutes. I watched it twice, kind of within a week, because I loved it so much that I then made my girlfriend watch it, and I was happy to sit through it again, and she loved it too, and we were both like, this is amazing. And I found out they have a podcast called Two Dope Queens, which I'm probably just really late to the party. But that's my next thing to listen to, because I think she's wonderful.
Yeah, it's really good for comedy fans. She's like, Two Dope Queens is hilarious, and I can't wait to watch The Incredible Jessica James, having heard about it from you.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I didn't even know it existed. I think I thought it was Jessica Jones. Is it Jessica? No. But there's that series that's about a superhero woman who fights David Tennant.
Maybe.
It's something about, it's Jessica's something being with a J, and I think I've probably seen this written down, like people recommending it and thinking it's the same thing, because it begins with a J, and I'm dyslexic, so everything that begins with a J is like lumped together. Oh, that must be that thing that I already watched once. No, but The Incredible Jessica James is a new thing, and it's a film.
It's quite, it's on Netflix. It's one of those, it's really great. It's just so funny, and she's so brilliant. She says all the things that you wish you were brave enough to say.
Cool.
So she's great. She's wonderful.
Great. So Jessica James, who is played by Jessica Williams.
Yes. And also she put, like, the thing with the film, like, you read the credits, she produced it, she's in it, she wrote it, and it's just like, you are a force.
Yes, amazing.
Wicked. So, yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Cool,
thank you. We'll be looking forward to seeing all of the Raising Our Voices artists at Camden People's Theatre, and we'll probably pop along after Bullish. So
yes, amazing. Cool. See you there.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
It's Beth here, just to say another huge thank you to our wonderful guests for being brilliant and talking to us on the podcast. It was really lovely to speak to all of you. We're really looking forward to visiting Camden People's Theatre this month. Bullish is until the 30th of September, and Raising Our Voices has 2 different shows on the 20th and 27th of September. So if you want to see 2 on the same night, don't forget the £16 ticket deal, and maybe see you there. I've also got 3 more recommendations for you from around and about London at the moment. First one is Turkey, which is at the Hope Theatre from the 26th of September. And that follows on from the conversation I was having with Amy about representations of women in relationships with other women on stage. Looking forward to seeing some that are not about homophobia or coming out, or with one of the women dying. So this play has popped up on my radar, Turkey, and it is not about the country or the gobble gobble animal. It's about 2 women who might want to have a baby together. And so the turkey, some of you may spot the reference, is a reference to turkey basting, which is a method of insemination for women that want to have a baby together. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's on the starts on the 26th. It's on until the 14th. So perhaps see you there at the Hope Theatre. The other day I went to see Half Breed at Soho Theatre, and this was one of the ones that I was hoping to see at Edinburgh but didn't get a chance. So I was really happy when it came to London. It's a one-woman show. Natasha Marshall is the writer and performer, and I don't know how autobiographical it is, but it's about a character called Jasmine who is growing up mixed race in a small English country village. So it deals with her experiences of racism, essentially, in a small town where she's the only person that looks like she does, and she kind of explores her relationships with her white best friend, with her grandmother, who is also white, and they're all played by Natasha Marshall in a wonderful multitude of voices and like super performance. One of those where you see 5 characters in 5 minutes, all played by the same person. Total masterclass. And also, as the writer, she has just been nominated for a UK Theatre Award for Best New Play, and that is truly well deserved. It's a brilliant story told in a really inventive way, with kind of a mixture of short dynamic scenes between characters in loads of different settings, but also with the narrative woven through it in a kind of spoken word poetry style. So it's a really brilliantly written, fantastic performance. Make sure you catch Half Breed at Soho Theatre until September 30th. And then we've got Boudica, which is on at the Globe until October 1st. Now, this is a brand new play at the Globe, so you're not going to be watching Shakespeare. It is some of it's in verse, but it's all brand new. The writer, Tristan Bernays, said that he wanted to write a play where women got to have all the best sword fights, and he has definitely done that. There's loads of fights in this, loads of blood, loads of swords clashing, and it's definitely a kind of, if you like Game of Thrones, go and see this kind of show. Constant drama. But also the other thing I liked about it is that it wasn't just like women getting to have a fight, but it was also women getting to deal with huge issues. Like, you know, sometimes women can be relegated to kind of the domestic sphere on stage and in films and all representations. This one has women like running the country, women leading armies, women making decisions that are kind of state of the nation level important, which is really, really awesome and really inspiring. And the cast were incredibly dynamic, you know, rushing about all over the place, pushing through the audience. Make sure you bring a Mac just in case it rains, as it is getting into the autumn months, but it's definitely still worth visiting the Globe. On the night we went, it was a clear sky and we huddled together with all our body heat and the heat of the excitement of what was going on stage, and it was a beautiful evening. So make sure you get booked in for Boudica and Half Breed, and then Turkey at the Hope Theatre, which starts on the 26th. And I hope you enjoy them all. We will be back together next time, hopefully, Pippa and I in the same room. But until then, thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.